Hey everyone, we are so happy to be here. I'm Tiara Fair with United Way of Delaware, and of course, my amazing partner in crime. Well, not in crime, maybe partner in good. We have Jennifer Sayani.
Hi everyone.
We are so excited because today we're talking all things prizes, which I know is like everyone's favorite thing to do and talk about. We already got messages saying like, when are the prizes coming out? We wanted to make sure that we could give you the best and the most up to date. So we were working really hard behind the scenes to get it together and so excited to present them to you now. One of the cool things is that if we get some more prizes, we'll add some things. But for the most part, what you'll see today is going to be the core of the prizes for Do More 24. And I like to think of it as like homecoming, where like this just like helps to make it all exciting throughout the day. So make sure that you share this information with your volunteers, your board, even your donors. Like tell them like, hey, we can get an extra prize. So I can't wait to share more with you. And I get to present this with our very own Charlie Vincent. So, are you ready, Charlie?
We're ready.
Let's go. All right, so this is just basically, if you don't know this by now, I'm so sad because oh my gosh, we've been working so hard. That means we've definitely messed up. But Do More 24 is Thursday, March 5th to Friday, March 6th from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. A beautiful thing because it gives everybody, all your donors, all your potential donors, investors, one sleep to tell them they forget, that's okay. They get one sleep to wake up and do it again. And it just gives us more hours, waking hours to really give. And so we're really, 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 really excited about this. And if you haven't already, mark your calendars, mark their calendars. Don't be afraid to put this on other people's calendars. It's a great way to kind of remind them. You want me to go try? Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is
What I
again.
would say is
Go ahead,
it's
go.
in 1 month. So 1 month from now, this thing is started. So that gives the ones who came in early have a little bit of a lead, but it's still, if you've looked at the marketing toolkit, there's plenty more stuff to code in and schedule out over the next few weeks leading up to March 5th. And we'll talk about some of the other things that are going on around this, but we'll keep it focused largely on the prizes. But similar to last year, we have more than $300,000 in prizes. The bulk of that's in the stretch pools again. And it wouldn't be possible without the support of all the various sponsors that get behind this, including United Way and Spur Impact. So thanks to all our sponsors. We'll recognize them overall. So we'll start off with the stretch pools. The For those of you who have participated in the past, it's not going to function much differently in terms of the general stretch pools. The way it generally works is each nonprofit is in one of two categories. They're either a large nonprofit, meaning that they have a $500,000 budget or larger annually, or they're a small nonprofit with less than that. The Division of the Arts, they split it three ways, but we decided not to do that for the general again this year and just keep it with two, large and small. So the stretch pool works that there's a large nonprofit stretch pool and a small nonprofit stretch pool. And the total for each of those stretch pools again is 30,000, and that'll be divided proportionately among all the eligible nonprofits um, in those stretch pool buckets, sort of proportionately based on how much they raise. So it's a formulaic calculation that's done at the end. Think of it like a bonus. So everybody who raises at least $5 gets some bonus. I think last year for the large division it was like 3%, and then for the small division it was 4 to 5%, something like that. So it is material. Every dollar helps. It's better than what you're getting in a bank account. And practically speaking, it's sort of calculated at the end. So, and then if you're eligible for the Division of the Arts nonprofit, you're not eligible for the general nonprofit. So that way, because they have their own stretch pool pot of money. So if as an example, if your organization raised 10, so if the stretch pool was 30,000 and everybody, raises in that division, so there's a couple hundred in each. And if your organization raises 10%, your share would be 10% of that 30,000. or $3,000. And so, like I said, it's very formulaic, based on the number of donations and how much you raise. So, all right. So, and like I said, there'll be two different stretch pools. There's nothing you guys need to do to calculate it. It's all done by us after the fact, but you're essentially competing against nonprofits your size. And similarly, all the hourly prizes um, for all are also split around the large and small divisions. So you're really only focusing on your own nonprofit to begin with, but basically, if you raise money, you'll get some portion of the stretch pool proportionate to your share relative to everybody else in your division. The DDOA stretch pool, that information, there's a webinar tomorrow for those DDOA eligible nonprofits. Again, it works, it's not dissimilarly to the way the general stretch pool works. There's three divisions, large, small, and medium, and each of the stretch pools has different value depending on which organizational tier you're in. And similarly, if you have to, you have to raise money to be eligible for it. So more on that tomorrow for those eligible nonprofits. But so setting aside sort of that as the framework of the overall prizes, as TR said, we have prizes every hour again this year. Some hours have additional prizes, and there's additional kind of bonus prizes at the end. We'll talk about all those next. Back to TR.
Thanks, Charlie. I think I have to add that the stretch pool is one of my favorite additions to Do More. I think that it's such an amazing thing that no matter what you do, as long as you participate, you are going to gain more dollars than you would if you didn't. And that's an amazing, amazing thing. So it's free money and all you got to do is participate. And that so do it, participate. So as Charlie said, we have prizes every hour, but here are some really niche and specific prizes. We'll go through those first. So this one is sponsored by the Carl Freeman Foundation and it's for Sussex County. And this is just allows it's basically a bonus prize pool for eligible nonprofits. That's why it's really, really important that you actually fill out everything for Do More 24. That means it's like your profile and we have our participation survey, which we've been sending a million times. It's so important you fill these out because it allows us to flag and make sure that you are in everything that you are eligible to be in. But for this one, the prize is simple. Eligible nonprofits will be determined based on having their primary office in Sussex County with programs serving only Sussex County and having an annual operating budget of under 500,000, and that's determined by your 990s. To qualify for this prize pool, eligible nonprofits must raise a minimum of $1,000. I think that's something that's really, really important too. And so if you raise money, they're going to give you even more money. The first place for that is a $6,000 incentive. Then it goes to 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, and then 6th through 10th place is 1,000. So you raise 1,000, you get 1,000, amazing, right? And then if you raise 1,000, you get 6,000, even more amazing. So, or raise more than 1,000. So make sure you please keep raising money. And and so this will create the money for this prize will increase your overall total. And so that will also increase your share in the stretch pool, which is pretty cool. So let's talk hourly prizes. Each of the 24 hours has two golden tickets. That's a $100 golden ticket. A golden ticket is it's a random prize. So it's at random every nonprofit that actually gets a donation during that hour. So you have to get a donation during that hour to be eligible. But if you get a donation during that hour, then you automatically get put into a randomization where two nonprofits will get a $100 golden ticket. Think Willy Wonka. That's where we came from. It was cool and brings in the excitement. It also encourages you, like, no matter what hour during the night, it's worth it to try to get at least a $5 donation. So, I know no one really wants to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, But, even if you could just find one person to make a quick donation at 3 o'clock in the morning, set an alarm, again, that just kind of amps up your chances to get prizes like that. Obviously, the slower hours, you have a better chance. Many of the hours have two or more additional hourly prizes. We'll go over some of those and make sure that you all have a listing of them. They'll be on our website. And then most of the hours also have bonus prizes that are in addition to that. Like I said, they are random, but the hourly prizes and the golden tickets will automatically be displayed and reflected on the winning nonprofits fundraising page. So you don't have to wonder, like, did I get a golden ticket? You'll know if you got a golden ticket. It'll say it on the bottom of your page. And it's pretty big, so you can tell, and it's exciting. So you can have that win. We will also be announcing on social. Sometimes we get a little backed up just because, 24 hours retired. But we will also be announcing them throughout the day, and so you'll be able to see that on social and celebrate on social with us. So hold on one second. Oh, another thing that you guys might be wondering is if you're going against some of larger nonprofits, most of the prizes are divided into small and large divisions. So you are not worried about going up against, although this is all friendly competition. This is not, a real race, right? But you're not going up against nonprofits that are so far unlike yourself. And they are really, like I said, winnable by any nonprofit receiving a donation during that hour. Go ahead, Jen. So these are the ones that we have so far. This is from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And again, this is going to be on the website, so you don't have to scramble to try to screenshot this right now. But you see in general, there's an opening prize. The first 20 nonprofits that get 25 unique donations get $250 at 6 p.m. to 7. That's usually when we crash the site, which is the most exciting thing because you guys like everybody's like all nervous. They're like, but we're crashing the site because we're trying to get this money. And I love it. We have 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. We have a supersized golden ticket. It's just one random nonprofit in each division will win $250. Again, we try to make sure this is all throughout the day. Charlie did, like, I have to give him props. He did an amazing job of making sure this is throughout the whole 24 hours and kind of add some excitement. Also, we try to supersize some hours because we know it gets weary. 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. I don't know about you, but that's my bedtime. So we want to make sure that it stays exciting throughout the night. And so we try to, put a little more emphasis on how you can win during those times. Keep going, Jen. So this is 6 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. at night on Friday, the 5th. I'm sorry, the 6th. Um, so again, same thing. We try to make sure that it's throughout the day. You'll notice there's just extra like supersized winning golden tickets, not just the regular $100 golden tickets to keep it interesting, exciting. And again, all of this will be on the website. So don't stress about it. Just plan. So the goal is, if I were you guys, I would take whatever small team you have, connect with them, and kind of figure out what your game plan is for the day, looking at all of these prizes. Go ahead. So we kind of talked about this. Every hour we'll have $100 golden ticket, and you can't win. The only thing that we didn't say, you can't win more than three. So if randomly you can't win all of them. There's not going to ever be one nonprofit that wins all of them, even though that would be amazing, right? And then you remember you just have to raise $5 or more during that hour to receive it. This is in addition to the extra supersized ones we just looked at. And so when you see it on the website, you'll see all the extra supersized ones, but and also you'll know that every other hour is $100.
Yeah, so basically in some hours there'll be a golden ticket and there might be a second golden, supersized golden ticket that a second nonprofit would win. I don't think you could win both in the same hour, but you never know. It's all at random, but but generally speaking, there's a lot of there's a lot of eligible nonprofits in those hours, so the odds are certainly better than the Powerball. I think in last year it's um, usually it's almost a different one every hour. So it's a couple people win more than one here and there, but it's just random. So like we said, and I know we've said this in other webinars, it's really about pushing out to your individual supporters and donors and board. And these are kind of bonus prizes, So the nonprofits have secured their own board matches, can promote that a little differently than the groups that are just promoting, kind of, hey, there, give today, everything you go get stretched a little further thanks to these prizes, which both are true. How many are entered so far? I think there were 330 or four, close to 350, I think, as of this morning. I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
we'll get to close to 600, if not more, again for this year.
Absolutely.
So we're sort of on pace or maybe a little ahead of previous years.
All right, these are fun. Charlie, you want to talk about them?
Yeah, so this is similar to the Freeman Foundation. There's other sort of one-off prizes that are eligible for those nonprofits. So the City of Newark again is putting up a small prize. So two nonprofits this year, so four in total. Two from large and two from small will be eligible for the City of Newark prize. And the eligibility for that is sort of restricted to those with offices in the City of Newark. And again, this is sort of calculated afterward. So if you're eligible, you're eligible for it. And then again, it's kind of plucked at random. Early bird. So we had 183 nonprofits who registered prior to December 31st, 2025. And so Your Money 101, which is another nonprofit that participates and offers a lot of personal finance work to different nonprofits, including to all the schools now, because the schools now have a personal finance requirement as part of their graduation effective next year, I think.
Mhm.
But Your Money 101 put up a $500 prize to a nonprofit that we plucked at random. And I'll just announce it. Jen can announce it if you can.
No, you can't just announce it all, not
Well, you can
excited.
announce who the early bird winner is.
I know, but you're like all saying it all like not excited. And then are they here, Jen? They're not even here. No, okay, no, we're not announcing it. We'll tell them later. We gotta
Yeah.
tell them.
Well, they wouldn't know. It's sort of like the golden ticket. Like just they're
I
there.
know. So we gotta, no, come
Yeah.
on. They gotta
We
be
have
here.
determined who's won that, and it was, and we'll announce that soon enough since they aren't here right now. Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for having fun with us. Like, Do More 24 is supposed to be fun, and so we try to actually have a little bit of fun with us. These are really fun prizes. These are sponsored by us, Spur Impact and United Way of Delaware. So the first nonprofit that receives the first donation of Do More 24 gets a $100 bonus. So if you're the very first person, which is honestly at random at this point because it's really hard because there's so many people. But the first nonprofit that gets the first donation gets $100. Dine More nonprofits with a food or nutrition focus that have the most donation will get $250. For the love of animals, not nonprofits with an animal mission focus that have the most donation will get $250. This is one of our favorites, especially for United Way, for the Love of Reading Prize, nonprofits with a literacy mission focus and have the most donations. There'll be one for large and one for small, so it's 250 for each. The $1 million marker, so the donation that puts us over $1 million gets $250 because we are so grateful for you. And then the donation that gets $2 million also gets a $250. That gets us over $2 million gets $250. The goal getter. This is really fun because this is really I mean it's a really a competition between you and you. So the nonprofit that has the biggest increase over last year, so it's a percentage increase over last year and raises over $1,000, which that's undoubtedly going to happen, then you get an extra $250 because again, it's all about getting better, us flexing our muscle, our fundraising muscles and having fun with it. And so we want to reward that. Also, the Global Giver, the nonprofit whose aggregate international donations equal the greatest distance from Delaware. So, before when we first started this, it was the furthest away, and it was a really cool prize. But we also realized the furthest city away from us was Adelaide in Australia. And so, if you knew somebody in Australia, you automatically won. This makes it a little bit more fun. If you can get some people around I mean, it could be people nationally, but international and donate, it would be international donations anywhere around, it's the aggregate. So you can be Italy, France, if you know some people in Ghana, if you know some people all together, if you add up their miles away from us, then that is gonna be the nonprofit that wins that prize, which is really cool. $250. And then social distance support. It's so funny because, again, you can see all of our iterations. This was originally started because of COVID. But this is the nonprofit with the most states, or the first nonprofit with all 50 states plus DC. We've been really working on that in we've gotten all 50 states, I think like 1 or 2 years, but we did not get all 50 states last year. So we could really use your help to make sure we get all 50 of those states involved and interested in little old Delaware.
Yeah, so the states that always seem to be the last ones to trickle in are Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota. Sometimes it's some other random one in the Midwest. But at least in the last year, for socially distant, I think the top two have gotten 30 or to 40 different states represented. Um, and the Everett has got the target on their back because they won it the last 2 years, I think. Global Giver, I think it's, like Tierra said, if you can get a couple of Australian donations, that may or may not win because somebody else could get a bunch from Europe or Canada or, a combination. So but they're sort of like, again, they're bonus prizes. We calculate them after the fact. So the emphasis really is on what you're doing in that 24 hours and trying to, and these are icing on the cake type surprises, any of them, including the stretch pool and all these. So, but we try and incentivize areas that are of importance to the sector as best we can, or certainly if the sponsors come along and they're like, hey, can you do this? We try and work with them. So.
Absolutely. You want to talk about this one, Charlie?
Yeah, so this is similar to last year. We were putting up some social media prizes. So these are eligible before the event. Um, so the Monday before the giving day, we'll drop the live stream promotion. And we'll talk about the live stream in a few minutes. But the live stream promo will go out on social media. All you have to do is like and share it. It's not very complicated. And you don't even, you could tag a nonprofit so you can have multiple entries into this. And then we just pluck, five at random on Instagram and five at random on Facebook. We'll wind up getting $100 bonus, and that's sort of added in at the end. So this is no donations required. You just gotta have somebody who likes you on social media, and it tends to get a lot of posts, but the goal of this is really to promote the live stream, which will start at 6 p.m. on Thursday at Chancery Market. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, but it's fun, and it doesn't take much. A lot of the other things are based on donations, but this, we try and make it as non-donation specific as we can. Sometimes this is the best way to do that.
This is actually also one of my favorite prizes. This is all about the peer-to-peer fundraising. If you want to do well at Do More 24, then the best thing to do is get some peers involved and get your constituents involved, no matter if that's your volunteers, your board, or a group of friends that you know that you have gotten together to help make this happen. The nonprofit BFF Champion Prize is awarded to a nonprofit whose personal fundraising pages in aggregate raise the most money, and they will get $500. So that means, for example, I just saw, I was going through, I saw one nonprofit profit had like 10 personal giving pages already set up. And so that means like individuals can go and set up personal giving pages, or you as a nonprofit could decide, I'm going to make a page for each of my initiatives, and that is how we're going to have personal fundraising pages. But it's whoever's fundraising pages alone can raise the most money. Also, we have the nonprofit BFF Get Out the Give prize, and that's awarded to the nonprofit whose personal fundraisers page has the most donations. So we understand that sometimes the number of donations doesn't always equal the money. You might have a lot of amazing people who want to support you, and maybe they can give a smaller amount of money, especially when you're dealing with like maybe students or something like that, who maybe can't give as much. But we want to make sure that they are still getting recognized too. So this is about the number of donations, not necessarily the most money, although they could be one and the same, and then that would be $500. And remember that for that one, sorry, Jen, I messed you up. Only the amounts and the donations received on the personal fundraising pages will count, right? So you know that you have your own link for your nonprofit. So you have an overall link. And then when you create a fundraising page, you'll see them on the side. They each have their unique links, though only the ones to those unique links will be counted.
And I would just add that that's not for everybody, like there are a lot of smaller nonprofits. It's just one page, and that's okay. It's more, if you've got a board that's super gung ho about raising money and they each want to have their own page, it's very easy to do that. And if you happen to raise the most or get the most donations, then you win that prize. But it's every nonprofit sort of has a different strategy to all this, and you got to go with what works for you and your team and
And
your
if you,
volunteers.
yeah, and if you don't know what works, and it's okay, and we still have a few weeks left, if you're confused or you're like, I don't know what's going to work the best, you can definitely pick our brains. Jen and I are here. We will do one-on-one sessions with you just to, give you best practices. Obviously, you all are going to be the experts in your nonprofit, but we can definitely give you some even more tips to see how you can put your best foot forward for Do More. And Jen put the email in the chat.
Yeah. So these prizes are up on the website, and I think we're still working to finalize a couple of them. So hopefully we'll get those confirmed and announced soon. But this is kind of what we did last year, and every year we do a little more. Last year we raised more than 2.5 million between everybody. So optimistically we might be able to do that again. It's individual giving is more important than ever in this environment,
Okay.
and we try and make it fun for everybody and spotlight as many as we can over the next few weeks leading up to the giving day, and certainly our Delaware live stream that we do with Chris Bruce and his team, and we try and make it a lot of fun, and it does raise a lot of awareness, and there is a big pop in terms of social media reach and chatter about the nonprofit sector. That's important to everybody. So great. All right. Anything else on these slides, and then we can stop recording and take questions and stuff. So, well, thanks for joining for that webinar for those of you who are
Yes.
watching it, and please feel free to reach out to us at any time, and we're happy to help. So.